WhiskyJason here. Whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany. And today I have Maker's Mark, Private Select, exclusive oak stave selection by Maker's Mark taste panel. 111.3 proof, 55.65 ABV Kentucky. American whiskey, no straight. So I'm wearing a different t-shirt today. I have the Barrel Flames. This is from ISC, Independent Stave Company. They work together with Maker's Mark to create Maker's 46. 46 different tries of making the best possible super premium bourbon they could. And this was a really interesting experiment, and they learned a lot. They learned that there's different ways of actually manipulating the barrels. I was in Kentucky, in Kentucky, in the middle of July, and I did the tour. And this was one of the probably the most fascinating and enlightening parts of the entire tour for me. Because what they do is they actually take the normal barrel that's been up in the warehouse for 5 to 7 years. After tasting it, they take it and then they put staves, little thin pieces of wood, about 2 inches thin, about 20 inches long, and about 10 of them connected together with a little plastic dowel. And they just put it into the barrel and let it sit for another 9 weeks, basically, in this cave-type warehouse they have in this wall, in this mountain they built in there. And there's basically 5 different types of wood that they can use. On the back of this, you actually see, I don't know if this will work or not. So you have the 5 different things. You could have, for example, this has 1 stave of the Baked American Pure 2, or P square. And this is actually a stave from American oak, baked oak, which they use in a conventional oven for a long time on a low temperature. So the people here at IFC actually just started playing around with wood, putting it in the bourbon, seeing what would happen. And this low and slow process is how this oaky and sweet flavors are amplified. Then you can have, like this does, 5 staves of the Seared French Cuvée. So this stave is seared using an infrared oven, which is the exact cooking process the Maker's 46 stave goes through, except this Cuvée stave is not cooked as long. It's darker than the P2 stave because it is exposed to higher heat. And the interesting thing is it has ridges cut in the stave, which creates more surface area. This interacts with the juice better, and also this opens up the door for different flavors to be presented within those ridges. So the goal is here to intensify the butterscotch, the caramel, and a little bit of nuttiness. So in this one, there's 0 Maker's 46 staves. They're exactly like the Cuvée. They're just cooked for a few more minutes. And they don't have the grooves. So then we have the roasted French Mocha stave. We have 3 of these in here. So it's basically the seared French stave 5 and 3 of the roasted French Mocha. So it's cooked in a traditional oven, just like you have at home, basically, just like the American oak, the P2 is. But instead of cooking it low and slow, it is exposed to high temperatures. And this unlocks the dark chocolate, the roasted coffee flavors, and a heavier char flavor. It's supposed to produce a long but dry finish compared to the cask strength. And this also has 1 toasted French spice. So this is French oak, and it's been put through the most unique cooking process. First of all, it's seared just like the other ones in the infrared oven at a high temperature. Then it's put in a conventional oven and cooked for a while at a low temperature. And this produces some fruity spice flavors. It's like a cinnamon, it's like a smoky spice. and it's very, very unique. So there's one in there. And now what you can do with the private select is there was this room right behind it's called the cellar, in the beautiful, beautiful room, and you can actually taste what this wood does. So you have one bourbon, Maker's Mark, that's just been in the one stave, and just in the other stave, and just in the other. And you can actually taste those 5 different, and then you start mixing it until you get what you want. And apparently the taste panel, these are the people who actually taste the quality control of Maker's Mark every day, week for week, and so on. They decided that this would be their favorite profile. And this was actually the 2017 distillery tasting panel, thoughtfully created by the distilling panel, tasting panel comprised of staff members who maintain the quality and consistency of Maker's Mark. So that's what the label said underneath this bottle. I bought it in Kentucky. I think I paid $69 for it. Not bad, right? For a private select. Distillery only. You have to go to Kentucky. You have to go to Loretto. You cannot order online. You have to actually walk into the gift shop and you have to buy this bottle there. Maybe if you have some connections, it's sometime otherwise possible, but it's basically just a pimped version of the Maker's 46. So now this was just fascinating, really fascinating. And I'm wearing this shirt because it's all about the ISC. They did it. This barrel making company started playing with the wood together with them, and they had 46 different attempts, and they learned from those attempts, and they started making these private selects. So if you're a hotel, you're a bar, maybe even a private person, you say, I'm going to buy an entire barrel, you get to do this. Unfortunately, I'm only buying a bottle and not a barrel. So I put this in my glass a couple minutes ago. Oh, it's so good. I actually do have mocha. Like a dark chocolate type. It's oaky. It's 55% ABV, and I don't even really realize the amount of alcohol in there. It's there. I've never had this before. This is interesting. There's the wood, there's the spice, there's the cinnamon, there's the mocha, there's the dark chocolate, and there's a little bit, and I've never had this before, as if there was a little bit of dark, rich mustard in there. Now, I know that doesn't sound great, but that little bit of that tartiness, just a tad. Very, very unique. And no, I have not had mustard today at all. So it's not on my palate, it's not on my nose, it's not something that I just remember from today. Been a week since I've had mustard. Very, very good. So one little thing I'm going to mention here. These labels they put on the normal Maker's Mark. They use a machine which is over 100 years old, and it's a hand press. And each and every one of these, they have to do it by hand. There's a little machine that does it. There's like, I think, 10 on each sheet that they do. And it's like a stance. And they have to actually push it out of the paper themselves. And we were given one of these during the tour, which I thought was a really, really cool thing. So it's handmade. So we want 55%, very, very hot. But still, it's bearable. But a little bit of water in there will help the whiskey a lot, just to develop and also to calm it down. Oh, it's got a good taste. Oh, wow, really, really nice. It's not a typical bourbon. The bourbon I usually have is a lot of corn, a lot of sweetness. And this is not sweet. It's a complex mixture of expertly chosen wood profiles. Very, very nice. The last time I've had something like this, I'm going to have to actually go to something with Scotch. Balvenie 3 Woods. Bushmill 16 3 Woods. You have the different types of woods together. You would have the Madeira, you would have the port, you'd have the sherry, you'd have the bourbon, and so on. Those mixed together give that flavor profile that's so complex. And this, they're doing it only with wood and not with the different types of spirits. Excellent, excellent stuff. I love it. I'm going to give it an A minus. Value for money, C minus. $69 is not out of this world, but it's exclusive. Of course, $59 would be just like a gift, but it's an exclusive product only at the distillery. They just make 1 or 2 barrels a year of this, fill it up, and sell it at the gift shop. Well worth it. If you're there, pick one up. Do not go for the normal Maker 46. You can buy that in any good liquor shop. Go for something you can only get at the distillery. So, thank you for watching. This was an experience. I've learned so much doing the tour, reading up about the Private Select. I would love to go on that tasting room and be able to make my own and create that what I wanted. It might be fairly similar to this. This was almost perfection. Who knows? All right, thank you very much for watching. Read up on Independent Stave Company, the barrel company, how they char the barrels and so on. Beautiful, beautiful place there in Lebanon, Kentucky. They offer tours. I can highly recommend it. Unfortunately, cameras and video cameras were not allowed. So, see you next time. Thank you for watching. WhiskyJason here. Whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany testing rare and exotic whiskeys. And then this is rare and exotic. See you soon. Bye-bye.